And welcome to Tally Benchwarmers. Your unofficial, definitely not expert take on the latest in local and collegiate sports. This week we are again, and maybe for the last time this calendar year, backbenching FSU and FAMU football. We've got volleyball we're going to be talking about. The volleyball teams just having lots of fun. And for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to concentrate on FSU and FAMU. We had an interesting weekend events, but before we get to that, let's welcome the folks to the bench. Adrian Andrews.
What's going on?
Good to see you, Adrian.
Ready to pump it out. Let's go.
The resident sports reporter here at WFSU Public Media. You do a lot more than sports, but when you do sports, you do it well.
Thank you, David.
We have to my right, if you're watching on television, to my right, Jennifer Tappen, the CFO here at WFSU. She knows so much about sports. We are just amazed by everything that you know about sports, Jennifer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Did you watch some football this weekend?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit.
And Eric Carter, our assistant chief engineer, is on a cruise this week. We're recording this on Monday morning. So we had to fill his seat on the bench with resident Gator, who is not, he promised this, he's not going to, well, he maybe do a chomp a few times, Tristan Wood. Tristan, you've got a smile on your face today.
I mean, absolutely. It was, an illuminating flag planting win by the Gators this weekend here.
You have anything to throw?
We'll see how if he behaves himself enough. There's the war chant. There is the war chant. Oh, Saturday night was a tough. It was a chilly Saturday night. FSU against the Florida Gators, and guys, I saw somebody in the stands, and I chatted with him, and he's one of our favorites that we've been talking about all season long.
Who you got, David?
A young man. He goes by various names, but Cole Woodard is his name, but we know him best as Coach Waffles.
Coach Waffles.
Coach Waffles. How you doing? Good. Happy to hear you.
Hey, it's doing pretty good. I'm still recovering from all the yelling and the cold weather. I've been doing
and the play calling for sure.
Yeah, play calling.
Yeah.
So
done a lot.
Where are you joining us from? Where are you right now?
So I'm in my hometown. I'm from Lakeland, Florida.
Okay.
Right outside of Tampa, Polk County. Hopefully Norvell brings me on, to recruit this area a little bit more since I'm so familiar with it.
I hope so too. My first question is: did anything get frostbite on your body on Saturday night? Because he goes shirtless, guys. He was wearing a jacket, but he goes shirtless. So I'm hoping that you're healthy enough to stay with us and chat about what we all saw Saturday night, which was, what, Tristan, FSU gave that game away. Five fumbles. Five fumbles.
Totally.
I mean, at least two of those directly turned into 10 points for the Gators. But gee whiz, what a tough night, right?
Yeah, with such a dominant season FSU's had, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally was their game to win.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, and as dominant as it was, we had 239 total yards of offense. That's right up there with one of our better games.
Yeah, it was.
That seems like a win, 239 yards.
That's right.
It does.
Yeah. And how many sacks did Luke have? I mean, we were talking about Luke earlier.
Yeah. He's a tough
like
cookie.
8 times, yeah. I was thinking Norvell was going to switch it up, maybe put in Brock or something, at least in the fourth.
Just
something. I was like, to get a little different feel, maybe.
Or
maybe
just to give Luke a break.
Give Luke a break. I thought, that's going to kill him out there.
They were trying to.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
We didn't have a whole lot to cheer about in the stands, did we, Cole?
No, not much, but I do think that the defense played really well. I mean, holding DJ Lagway, I think it was to 133 yards.
Yeah.
I think that the defense played really well, and I got to commend Luke's toughness. It's not easy being back there and getting hit so much, because we see it all year.
I mean, he just got,
take it into the off season and something to build off of, like his toughness and stuff.
Well,
he looks promising for sure. And you guys didn't see it at the game, but our defense had their quarterback just so frustrated. He was frustrated the whole game, and it was obvious. And they kept doing close-ups with him on TV, and he was just we had him rocked.
On the sidelines.
We had him rocked, and that was a win in my book. Forget the offense. We don't
he
worry
really
about
didn't
them.
put up like crazy numbers that I thought, because it was really that ground game is really what won that game.
It did, and the ground game wasn't even Lagway so much, right?
Yeah,
Lagway is he can run the ball too.
Yeah.
But I tell you, there was that one play. I think it was third quarter where I think it's third quarter where I forget who it was on our defense tried to throw Lagway to the ground. It was and he just twisted. Lagway did like a Jordan Travis-esque, right?
The athleticism.
And then throws a reception. Oh man.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about it? He was wearing hamstring support pants. I didn't even know they made those. So
they were new for him. They were new for the game because he has a messed up hamstring, and that's what they were blaming it on.
He probably shouldn't have been playing. I mean, if I'm wearing essentially,
he's had that hamstring since
padded up pants.
Since what game? I mean, he was out. The one game, but he came back. He came back and played
one of them.
He played LSU
Just
game and
out.
Ole Miss in one. But we have a lot to learn from this year. I think with probably some portal selections. Hopefully some the recruits that are going to stay with us will be there for next year.
We need to be focusing on our offensive line.
Yeah. I'd like to hear from the coach. What's the coach Waffles? What does he got to say?
Because
I think prioritizing the offensive line should be the number one concern for the portal, and beef it up. I'm really interesting to see who they bring on as the offensive line coach. Because I know that's who the fan base wants to see most, is like who's going to take over that role. I really want to prioritize keeping the young skill players, like Lynn McCoy, BJ Gibson, Hakeem Williams, Landon Thomas and Amari Williams are absolute studs. So prioritizing keeping your guys from the portal is also a big part of it now in college football.
Yeah, Thomas and Williams, I mean, more like what we were calling more drops at some point during the season. Yeah. But, I mean, Tom and Williams got hurt there in the fourth quarter. It looked to me like a dirty tackle, but that's just me because I'm not a Gator fan.
I will say one of the reasons why Florida State fans do not like the Gators as much as we don't is because they're dirty. I mean, the whole game, it was dirty. They were playing dirty. They were playing
Tristan
nasty.
Over there. He is trying to keep from jumping in.
You can tell it when a team loses when their fans start talking about how dirty the other team is, and start breaking up all the other little moral victories you can get from them.
Because last season we won, and they were just as dirty, if not dirtier, last season. They spit on us last season.
That was in Gainesville, and that was in Gainesville.
That was dirty.
I don't know. I'm not saying it was dirty.
I'm pretty sure I saw L.J. McCray punch Luke in the face at one point.
Yes.
That which didn't call, but So I think what happens on the field. There's a lot that we don't even know about that happens in the big piles and everything. But keep trying, Tristan. Keep trying to make us feel bad for being FSU fans here. Yeah, go ahead. But I felt good for the Gators. They won. They hadn't won in 2 years against the Seminoles. So it was time. It was time for the Gators to win, right?
Absolutely.
We gave them this year.
We'll
a rivalry is no fun when it's like one-sided over several years. That keeps it good.
Yeah.
So just a few things, I guess, for the season. Or actually for the game, real quick. 63 total tackles, 6 for a loss with 3 sacks and an INT. That interception in the end zone. I was at the other end of the field and I couldn't tell he was in the end zone. I thought he was like at the 2-yard line.
He was
and
in the end zone.
Don't catch that ball.
It was beautiful.
It was a perfect interception.
It was.
In Jay-Z's hands.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and it was so well timed and so well needed by our defense. You could tell they were getting tired and frustrated out there, and then they caught that interception. It was like the little bit of fire that we needed to finish the game.
So 5 tackles for loss for a loss in 11 consecutive games this season, the longest stretch since 2013.
Oh.
So the defense to what Cole was saying. I mean, the defense had its problems this year, but some games
I think they played very well.
They played.
Basically carried the Knowles.
Yeah.
Could have been way worse.
Certainly Saturday night. I mean, with the fumbles where they were happening.
Mm-hmm. And of course, when you have such like a poor offensive performance throughout the season, it just naturally puts more stress on the defense.
Regardless of who the team is, right? Yeah. That was a nice thing of you to say.
Nice.
That was nice. Yeah. Hey, but the before the game, it was senior night, and before the game, they brought out all the seniors, and when Ryan Fitzgerald came out, man, the crowd went crazy. Obviously, Fitzgerald has been one of the stars for the team.
You remember a couple of years ago we were booing him because he was missing everything. He was terrible a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I used to live up there actually, and I was up there. I met Ryan when he was a freshman, and we became pretty good friends. So seeing him progress the way that
he's doing now,
and etched his name into Florida State kicking history, because I could go back all the way to, I know my history on it and how important that kicking position has been for Florida State.
So important. So many legends.
Up there.
He finished the season 13 for 13 on field goals. So
that's amazing.
He led the country. Yeah.
And hey, let's hope we get his brother. Yeah. Although we've learned from past Aguaya.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Aguaya.
Wait a second. Maybe the coach knows. Coach, how to pronounce Aguaya?
I believe it's Aguayo.
Aguayo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a Bucks fan, so when they drafted Roberto, I was super excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very familiar.
We had the oldest brother, and he was excellent. And then we recruited the youngest, or the next brother. And I think there was like a line of like 5 brothers. And FSU fans were super excited to get him for years and years. And then the second brother was no good.
Yeah. But Fitzgerald's a Lou Groza Award finalist this year. Cole, if you were good friends with him, maybe he can get you season tickets to whoever he gets drafted by, because he's going to get drafted.
He's going to get drafted.
Tampa. I'm praying.
That'd be great.
The Packers need a kicker something fierce.
And then Mastromanno, he'll be a punter that's going to be drafted.
Yeah.
He's been
excellent. And he's had plenty of time to improve his numbers and show everybody his talents this season. So.
He has. Yeah, it was his 59th game.
I feel like I've been watching, what Iowa fans have been watching for like 20 years this year, just punt after punt.
Yes.
We'll just say we're getting ready for Big Ten football.
There you go.
Say that.
Yeah. Mastromanno led the country again, in average punt. Gee whiz.
Good for him, but not good for us, right?
Yeah.
So the Gators ended the season with a winning record. Good for you, Tristan. 7-5. Are you bowl bound, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they qualified with us.
Where do you want to go? Where you want to go to the Gator Bowl, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Totally.
Are you going to settle for the Birmingham Bowl?
That may be Birmingham Bowl.
I'm not sure which bowl you guys are going to get. That one. What was it last year? You guys didn't get one last year.
Little jab in there. Little jab.
But I will say, hey, the Cheez-It Bowl, perhaps.
Well, hey, but FSU played the Cheez-It Bowl, so we can't downplay that one.
But what did we play? We played years ago. We played like in the Emerald Bowl in Hawaii that nobody watched because it was like
there's quite a few of them. GoDaddy Bowl. There's a whole bunch of them.
Hey, I will say, good job, Billy Napier, on saving your job for another season. Yeah. Congratulations.
Good job, DJ Lagway, for saving Billy Napier's job.
There you go.
But I took photos of both Napier and Norvell at the end, right there at the end of the second half when the Gators were driving down. So I've got a shot of Napier calling a timeout, to stop the clock, and then a shot of Norvell looking back up at the clock, and I know he was thinking, just keep running, man. But there was. what a game! It was tough to watch. There were a lot of Gator fans in the
they were so loud.
They were loud. And
probably the loudest
so.
the stadium's been all season.
No, I think that maybe we were loud at Charleston Southern because we had a big crowd.
I would say we were loud at that the Cal game too. That I was at that game as well. I was able to, being here in Lakeland, I was able to make some games, and when the season started out as it did, I made it a parent to go to the Cal game.
Yeah.
And they were really loud then, but at the end of the game, listening to all the Gator fans as they kind of, took over the team because a lot of the fans had left. That ripped my heart out. And I stayed till the clock hit, 0.
Well, I hope you stayed until the clock was like 30 seconds afterwards, because then you saw that debacle, that planting of the flag on the FSU logo at midfield, and I'm telling you that pissed off Norvell. If nobody else, we saw a fired up Coach Norvell.
That's the maddest we've seen in this season.
Yeah, it was. What do you think about that flag planting? Tristan,
as
the Gator guy here.
This is my opinion, totally not biased because of the team or anything, but my opinion on sports in general. It's entertainment, man. Incidents like that. Yeah. Having like a little bit of showboatiness, argument about sportsmanship or whatever. That stuff's entertaining and it grabs attention. It makes the rivalry more heated and more.
It certainly made it heated for that 5-minute period while they were trying to clear everything.
Yeah,
off
but of course, fighting and that stuff and going to blows that's unacceptable. And also, I forget the player, but one of UF's players was walking around with like a Seminole doll head or something something really weird that I thought was really uncalled for. I think he got it from a fan in
the stands.
Yeah, something really uncalled for.
And I'll tell you, if Coach Waffles had seen that, if Coach Waffles had seen that interaction, he would have knocked the fan out of the stands, right, Cole?
In their defense, though, when we beat them, we walk around with a chopped off gator head.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a gator head and the head of
like a Seminole mascot. That's uncalled for.
I mean, everybody has to understand the relationship that the university has with the Seminole tribe.
That's true.
And that's over the top.
I don't hold it. Listen, I don't expect anything less from the Gators. Like I said, in Polk County, it was Gator country, so being a Florida State fan was real hard during the TiVo years. So my problems with the University of Florida stem back for a long time. I don't expect anything less from the. If we were there, we're the Super Bowl. It's very clear that the way that they act, this is their national championship. They got their win. Congratulations. Yeah. And they apparently they don't understand. After years and years and years, they still don't understand the sod ceremony. So they feel the need
I agree. The sod ceremony is
celebratory. Vandalize our field. Our ground crew works hard making Bogdan Field look nice, and they got to come and put their cleats and dig up the end zone, man, just because you won. I mean, that whole thing is sanctioned. The University of Florida watches us do it. And I remember last year when we won. Yeah. I don't remember us playing a flag. The most we do is the gator head with the helmet on top. So,
and then the sod,
and then we cut the sod, but it's like a square inch of sod.
Yeah, it's a
and on the sidelines as well. I think when we cut the sod,
it's in a specific place. I know there's it's sanctioned. There's specific stuff of how that sod. But you know what? Let's forget about Saturday as much as we can, because we got next season for both teams to think about. But I don't care about the Gators next season. We're Adrian, is Malzahn coming or not?
The word on the street.
Yeah, that's the word on the street.
That's the word on the street. But we'll see what happens. The university has yet to put anything out on that. So, I mean, but
I don't think they'll make it official until that contract is signed.
Yeah, they got to figure out what's going to happen.
Wikipedia has Malzahn as the OC. I went to Malzahn's Wikipedia page, and he's already
changed his title. Listen, so I can do my darnest for sports reporting, but I'll never beat out Wiki. You know what I'm saying?
Wiki's the place to go.
Most reliable source ever.
I know, right?
Now, I was listening to sports radio, and it comes out of Orlando, and the guys were talking about today that Malzahn leaving UCF, it was not a surprise. Now, whether that means that it was a mutual thing. The university said, okay, if you resign,
because they're going to have to pay that off.
Whatever it is.
He has some more time, to be there, so.
Yeah.
But if he's there, and this is legit, I think that's an upgrade for FSU.
Yeah, I agree. Malzahn.
Because he can recruit now.
Yeah, he's a great recruit. He recruited Cam Newton, I believe, at Auburn.
I was upset I didn't even get an interview. I'm
I would.
You should have. I mean,
but because you really are an offensive mind more than a defensive mind, right, Coach?
Well, yeah, I tend to think so. I if the news is true about Malzahn, I do run a 3-3-5 defense, so I will pivot to the defensive side.
Yeah,
of the
because
ball,
we don't know who's coming in at DC yet. Yeah.
No, I see the reports. I think the name I just saw, before we started, I saw Tony White. I saw that got reported from Nebraska. There's talks of that, but I've from what I think, watching football and stuff, I love the potential hire of Malzahn, and I think that it's Norvell learned a lot from him.
Well, and giving away the play calling duties, maybe he'll really let the offensive coordinator make the play calls, and then he can manage the game. Clock management, all of that sort of stuff, right? Yeah.
I just I'll come on as a motivator role,
We do need an O-line coach and a wide receiver coach. So those jobs are still up for grabs.
Listen, I like to think that I can catch, but I don't think that I would do well. Now, I do got a pretty good, step back game, but I leave it to the ones that have been doing it. I'll just keep.
I gotta say, offensive linemen love Waffle House. So
that's right.
We need to work on getting the boys constant, just whenever they want Waffle House at all times.
All times. Okay, we need 320-pound offensive linemen.
Need that Florida player, that defensive Florida 21. Player. Oh my gosh, that boy! Listen, I was watching that and I was like, I feel sorry for that boy's mama. That was tough. So his high school years were tough.
So not only does Norvell's got to kind of rebuild some of his coaching staff, recruits. We've lost some recruits but now, again, Malzahn, a good recruiter. Maybe we'll be able to flip. Maybe we'll be able to flip some kids from the Gators that have committed. That maybe will to uncommit from the Gators, because the Gators, you guys have been bragging about flipping some of our recruits. So. We'll see.
If they went from Florida State to Florida, then Florida can keep them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I'm sure we gladly will.
Yeah. So, we're going to, I think we have beat this horse to death about FSU, Florida. And we're going to pivot to FAMU. And when we pivot to FAMU, Coach Waffles, Cole Woodard, we're going to say thank you. And we will hopefully talk to you next season, too, Cole.
Yeah, thank you, Coach Waffles. We hope to see you again.
I thank you guys for having me on. It wasn't the season that we hoped for, but I just got one thing to say. Bring on Alabama, because when you come to Coach Campbell, you're not coming out with a win on this one. Next year, we're going to be bigger, stronger, faster.
The tide is going to be at a low tide.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we're going to the roll tide is going to just roll right on out of here with a loss on August 30th.
They're going to have a flat tire on their way out.
Absolutely. Coach Waffles, Cole Woodard, thank you again. Good talking to you, young man.
Hey, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, FAMU. FAMU, they didn't have the season that we had hoped they would either. But,
no.
But,
much better than Florida State's.
Better than that. They had the best American football record in Tallahassee this year. Alabama A&M, a competitive game on Friday.
Right. Yeah. So I watched it. I didn't attend it in person, but yeah, good game. Had me a little nervous there. I thought it was that the momentum was swinging back and forth. But so that's what you want though in those type of games. I mean, it was the wrap up, to this season, and I thought Coach Colsey did a very good job. It's his first year. 7-5, and so I think he did really good.
Hey,
Really good.
you know, I think both teams, both FSU and FAMU, they had the bar set so high last year.
Yeah,
I mean, you win the
it's
SWAC,
hard when you come off the undefeated season
absolutely.
and then you go into a 7-5. Obviously,
better than a 2-10.
But it's better. Listen, So there's but they are rebuilding. So that's to say the least. But I want to say kudos to Daniel Richardson.
Yeah.
Our transfer quarterback. He came in. He surpassed 10,000 career passing yards.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's he joins a short list. I mean, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That's a
list.
That's a list. That is a list. So I mean, that's amazing for him.
Do you think he gets drafted?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously with his time with FAMU, I would say if he had maybe some more years there, but with FAU, he had some playing time there. So who knows? Might be.
I'm not familiar enough with him size wise and everything. Is he kind of prototypical size?
On the shorter side
a little bit?
for QB.
Okay.
So
that may be tough. Yeah,
he definitely has the arm.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, let's hope for the best.
Yeah, 10,000 yards is hard to beat when you go there.
It's hard to look past if you're somebody on an NFL coaching squad saying, maybe so. What do you think about that, Tristan? See, his eyes are glazed over because we're no longer talking about the Gators. Are you okay?
Yes.
You sure you're okay?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, 10,000 yards, nothing to squint at.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it is FAMU.
Yeah, well, it's, I mean, with that being said, it's going to be tough. It's an uphill battle for him if he wants to get drafted. I can't think of the last time if he even had a drafted quarterback. I mean, someone, I think Quinn Gray, and I'm not even sure if he was drafted. He might have been a free agent that came on. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him. But I think as for his next year for FAMU, obviously you have to find his replacement. Yeah. And then build on top of that.
Yeah.
So.
And I was telling Adrian, I didn't realize FAMU had played on Friday until I looked. I was ready to look at what the game was going to happen on Saturday night. I'm like, they've already played. When I was out of town last week, so I didn't pay really close attention to when the games were being played. So, but glad they ended it with a winning record. We had some concerns at kind of mid-season when
especially that home win streak when it was snapped.
Exactly.
I was like, oh no. I was like,
going into next season for FAMU, I mean their rushing attack was pretty dominant this year.
Yeah.
Does it look like they'll be able to carry that over into next season as well?
Yeah, we're going to have some guys returning. What scares me a little bit on that offense is we lose like 3 tight ends. They're all our starters, our starting tight ends, so we lose all of them. Obviously, we lose Daniel Richardson. A couple of running backs, they do graduate, so we got some rebuilding to do, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, so we're going to pivot to kind of keep it in the college football realm, but we touched on this with the FSU Florida planning of the flag at midfield, but we were one of several games where that happened
it was an ugly
on
weekend.
Saturday. It was an ugly weekend when you came to it. I mean, it was Michigan beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that was the first one, I guess, and that was the one that really, I mean, it was
ugly.
right?
Yeah.
It was ugly.
On national TV, I think it was on Fox Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
And then the police got involved. There was pepper spray.
Involved. A few players were bleeding or something.
Yeah, there were several police or law enforcement agencies involved. Several players got pepper sprayed. And several players got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty. Coaches were involved in it. I mean, it was bad. Ohio State just wouldn't leave the field. They just wouldn't leave the field.
I think that rivalry is much. We like to think that the FSU Florida rivalry is really, really intense. I think that Ohio State Michigan rivalry is maybe the most intense nationwide. Yeah. And then I guess later in the afternoon, NC State beaten North Carolina. NC State planted the flag. There was an issue there. Later, Arizona
State.
Yeah, Arizona. And they planted not a flag.
What a pitchfork.
A pitchfork.
Right? You gotta be careful with those things, man.
Pitchfork.
Listen,
I mean,
with the Sun Devils or this. So
that's a weapon.
Yeah, you got to be careful with this. But we were talking about this earlier. What the NCAA is going to do to sort of crack down, because they're not going to have this sort of.
Well,
thing.
just like the NFL cracked down on fights this year with major fines, getting ejected from the game if you fight before the game.
Yeah.
But then there you have the Alabama Auburn game where they were fighting the whole from start to finish after the game.
After the game,
they were
in the parking lot.
Probably.
So I touched on this a little bit during the FSU portion, but there's the planting of the flag and doing these things to showboat after a victory, and then there's the fighting and the
I think when it gets violent is where you sort of be like, okay, this is where we draw the line.
Pushing and shoving.
We get the pushing and shoving.
Pushing and shoving is going to happen, but then what happens is if the players and even if fans get involved, they're so intense because the team that just lost, they're pissed off, right?
Yeah.
And so
these aren't small human beings.
They're not small human beings. And the players are young. They're like Tristan. The brain is not fully developed yet.
that would explain why he's a Gator fan. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm teasing you, Chris. He's the youngster, so here.
No.
But no, you're right. So don't you think the NCAA is going to have to crack down?
They're going to have to.
What do you do? You find the school that's involved. Maybe you do injections for the players.
Yeah, you find the players. The players are making no money now. So you find the player. I mean, there has to be something.
What I hope is that there's not a big rule change around any type of celebration or anything like that.
They're already not really allowed to celebrate. That already is a personal foul.
After a score, it's a personal foul. But I mean, I understand, and I agree with you, Tristan. It's
part of the
celebration.
game.
It's in particular, maybe Saturday's victory over FSU wasn't such a big deal. Now, 2 years ago, when we beat Florida back at the Doak, and that was when the fans rushed the field, it was something about that. Then took us to the bowl game, and all. That was a magical season.
Yeah.
Now last year, on our undefeated season, when we had our celebration in Gainesville, that. I'm not sure if that got violent like it did here, but anyway. I agree with you.
Yeah, I was at that one. I don't.
Oh, you were there?
I don't recall anyone.
Nothing.
No blows or nothing like that.
Well, then you look at a game like Friday night's game, the Georgia game.
Oh, you were watching the Georgia game, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was the players emotionally, physically, mentally, completely exhausted. And
long game.
Nobody fought.
Right.
They
How
were
many
hugging
overtimes were that? Was that?
There were 8.
8 overtimes?
It was 9. 9 is the longest, and that was back in 2021, and that was Penn State. They weren't even ranked back then. But it was 8 overtimes, and there was no fighting. There was no. They were hugging each other at the end. Both teams were.
See, Jen, this is where I gotta say this. If we go through 8 overtimes, I mean, if I'm a player, listen, and I lose that game. Yeah. Oh, I'm letting them fly. I'm letting it sting like a bee.
I think they were everybody was so happy that it was over.
Maybe even too,
I think they were all so happy that the game was just over. They were like, thank God, thank you for winning. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Well, in this game,
it was like 11. It was 11:30 at night. There was they had both teams had completely run out of 2-point plays.
But remember, this was Georgia Tech versus Georgia. Georgia Tech was not expected to even come close to that game, right?
No, but Georgia
came back. I mean,
they scored 28 points between the last 5 minutes of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. It was insane.
Yeah,
just based
by
off
far.
that's how hard they fought.
Yeah, but Georgia they faced losing a 30 home game winning streak and all that kind of stuff. And I think once they realized that, they were like, oh crap, we really got to play.
So Tech if Tech had won, they would have said to themselves, we started the season by beating powerhouse FSU and then ended it by beating powerhouse Georgia. But anyway, Georgia definitely going to be in consideration when the college playoff comes in. Obviously, the other teams in the ACC that we're interested in again. Our SMU surprised the world, I think, this year with how they've done. Clemson kind of backed into it, into consideration now.
Thanks to Miami.
Well, you know,
disappointing.
He saw the coach. It was like, hey, you're welcome.
South Carolina was not guaranteed either because South Carolina's had a good team this year. But then Miami loses to Syracuse. Yes, that was so. You know, SMU and Clemson now going to play for the ACC championship. And then I guess after what happens, who from the ACC gets considered outside of the conference champion for the 12-team playoffs? So we'll see here in a few weeks. December. Actually, I think the ACC championship game is the 7th. So the 7th is this Saturday, right? Yeah. Quick. So we'll find out quick. We're going to talk about another sport that has been a hot topic here on the bench the last few weeks, especially, is volleyball on both campuses. Certainly on the FAMU campus.
Oh yeah,
the FAMU women winning the SWAC, undefeated at home. Was it an undefeated? It wasn't an undefeated season.
Undefeated in the SWAC. Undefeated in the SWAC and at home. Yeah. So. What more can you say?
Well, and we've talked about this. They have an exciting team. So
they really do.
And FSU had a couple of games last week, and then yesterday on Sunday, the picks or the announcements for who's going to be in the NCC tourney. Obviously, FAMU as the conference champion is there, and then I think the Seminoles, the ladies, were not quite sure, but they are also going forward.
Correct.
The NCAA tournament games are this Thursday and Friday.
Correct.
And you want to say something?
Do you know who else is in the tournament?
This is his only knowledge of volleyball.
my only knowledge
of volleyball.
But you know, the UF's women's volleyball team's going, and they're actually a higher seed in their respected region than FSU and FAMU.
Well, you know, FSU, I can't speak for FAMU, but FSU plays in the really highly competitive ACC in volleyball. So, you know, it's harder to win those conference games in the ACC in volleyball, and forget about
FAMU's
football than it is in the SEC.
In their conference.
I mean, FAMU has been in the tournament. And they went to the tournament in 2021 and 2022. So I mean, this isn't. This isn't new for them.
It's new. Yeah. So you know, hopefully we'll be talking about a national championship in Tallahassee here real soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Oh boy. So. We went so long on talking about FSU football and everything. We got to just really kind of start wrapping this up. But last week was our final week of picking football games. Some of us didn't do so well because we really nobody thought that Syracuse was going to beat UM. Although did you pick Syracuse?
No,
I'm not sure. But anyway, so
I wish.
And then Rice beats USF. And then really,
I think Eric probably cleared. I think even Eric picked Syracuse.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But anyway, so
cheating off my test.
So Eric's not here to witness what his season record was, and we had to include Tristan. Tristan had picks for 2 weeks this year. And so I included him. I mean, I felt sorry for him.
Right. There's an asterisk next to me having the highest percentage. Correct picks.
This is like an asterisk. He had an 80% winning percentage. He picked only 10 games in total for over 2 weeks. He got lucky on that first week. I had 71% winning percentage. Jennifer actually came up and did well, 68%, and then. Eric and Adrian, you tied there, not for last, but you just tied at 66, almost 67%. But you know, this last week hurt us because I think all me and Eric went 2 and 3 this past week. I think because of the upsets. But you know, we'll have to talk about whether we want to do picks with the basketball season coming up. Basketball's got a lot of games every week. Sometimes
maybe we do it like just by the week. And
maybe
okay,
we'll say pick only one game.
But then sometimes you get sometimes they play twice in a week, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's what the folks around the bench will talk about here in the coming few days. But it's now time to say, I think, so long.
Oh man!
To our bench warmers today, the folks that stuck with us through. If you were a Gator fan that's listening to this, God bless you. But congratulations, congratulations on the win Saturday. We will let you do the chomp.
Oh,
we'll do the chomp
baby
with
chomp.
You here. Yeah, baby chomp.
Baby chomp.
For Tristan. But that's our time to say goodbye. I feel like Carol Burnett here, but Tally Benchwarmers, we come to you every week, and if you'd like to send us some questions, you can send them to tallybench@wfsu.org. And of course, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, so we'll take that sponsorship as well. I'd like to thank Taylor Cox and Jason Acuna for making this all happen for us today. And go Noles, Lady Noles this week, and we will talk to you next week on Tally Benchwarmers.